But what I'm saying, if you are, you know, there's someone I was speaking to, and I'm not going to name names, but we all know who this person is, and they have a whole bunch of money. And he said, Andrew, when you look at the world, you need to understand that world leaders are just asset managers. They're the asset manager for the ultra wealthy within their nation. Let's talk about Venezuela quickly. Why did the Venezuela kidnap happen? I have a theory that Maduro did a deal, but let's assume that's not true. Why did it happen? Because the American government said to Maduro, play ball. He said no. They said, okay, cool. Let's go one level below him to all the generals who can't be bothered to die in a pointless war they stand no chance in. But more importantly, let's talk economics. You're a general in Venezuela. You've managed to be corrupt enough to steal $6 or $7 million across your career. If you get sanctioned, not only can you not leave Venezuela, you can't transfer money, you can't own assets anywhere else, your dollars are worthless. You don't want this smoke, right? So it's Maduro's job to keep these people so happy with him that they don't betray him for America. And it's the same everywhere. All of the leaders of every single country, their primary objective actually isn't the common man. Their primary objective is protecting their oligarchy, because it's their oligarchy that have enough power to betray them and overthrow them. This is the same in every single country. So as Trump, it's very difficult. How do I protect the billionaires? Because the billionaires put me here, and the billionaires run the economy, and they own all the important things, and they own the news stations, and they own all the gas stations, and they own everything. I need them happy. But how do I do that without destroying their wealth and also allowing young people a chance to make wealth? It's constantly fluxing, is extremely difficult and hard and complicated to do. And there is an intangible element to all of this. The intangible is that we have a brand new thing that we never had before. And I would argue that this brand new thing that we all benefit from, social media, is driving envy to a level where it is literally impossible for a young person to fathom anything other than getting money today. And it's getting worse. Not only are people poor, they have to watch the rich all day. It's amazing we don't have riots already. This is a brand new paradigm we're entering. And there's no easy solution to these things. I'm not advocating for communism. I live in Romania, which used to be communist. I hear all the horror stories. But even Romania now, they overthrew their election. The guy who won was thrown out. He was put in jail by the same prosecutor as me. Interesting story. They put in an EU shill. They're now bringing in 250,000 migrants a year, and they've doubled the taxes. All the people are now starting to say, this is worse than communism because I can't afford this game anymore. At least in communism, I could eat. I can't pay my bills anymore. What I'm saying is capitalism at the hyper extent is only going to drive the median towards socialism because the median can't play the capitalistic game. So we have to sit as intelligent adults and say, okay, how do we include the young people in capitalism? That's what we have to do.
Absolute true. It's so true. It's very true what you're saying with the affordability. I think the affordability is a real issue, but I think a part of it, Tate, my opinion, to really get it to go, it's like even right now what he said the other day, hey, we're going to buy $200 billion of paper to cause interest rates to go lower. That announcement alone brought the interest rates for, 30-year to the lowest in 3 years. It dropped by, Trump announces $200 billion bond purchase and bid to lower mortgage rates. Do you know what my opinion is on what we need to do in long term, which will never happen? Will never happen in America. Never happen in America. Not because of the election model that we have. The benefit a monarchy has over a democracy, a monarchy, you have to think about what's good for the country in 40-year terms.
Yes.
20-year terms.
Yes.
Democracy, you have to think about, you got every 2 years you have an election. Midterm,
it's hard.
Presidential, midterm, it's like, man, what can I do to please that audience and these guys and those guys? Yeah. The truth of the matter is, you gotta let it take a hit for a few years.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you want your body to naturally reproduce, and you've been on all this stuff, you're Mr. Olympia competitor, you got to get off of stuff to 100%. Let the body reproduce 100%. Testosterone again. And the chance of that happening with any president in our lifetime, it's not going to happen.
You're completely right. And we have to recognize patterns. And I wonder, and I'm worried, because you study the fall of empires, right? You study how all empires rise and all the empires fall in the end. And they all fall the same way. The Roman Empire fell the same way. Inflation, mass migration, disenfranchisement of the youth, young men not wanting to die for the country anymore, didn't want to join the army, no one having kids, birth rates, all the exact same problems we have. You study it and you go, wow, maybe empires do just rise and they do just fall. How do we fix these things? It's extremely difficult. I don't have the answer, and nobody in human history has ever found the answer. It's extremely hard to find. But my worry is this, and I'm trying to plan for the future, right? I, unfortunately, and I'm not saying this hyperbolically or trying to be a tough guy, I have a strong belief there is a chance at any random moment that I get blasted and I'm gone, right? So I have to plan for the future for my family, for my kids, for all the people I care about. The American dream is the #1 thing that unified this country. The American dream is come here, live amongst people who don't think like you, who don't look like you, who don't talk like you, who have a different religion to you. More importantly, and this is very important, they have a different version of history than you. Your heroes are their villains, and their villains are your heroes. You're completely different. But if you obey the law, you can get rich. And what we're starting to see is people wake up and go, wait, I can't get rich. And wait, nobody's obeying the law. So once you have that mass realization, once people realize that the laws in America, the courts, the judicial system, ICE, the police, DOJ, FBI, all of them are at the very brink of their capability and they still can't seem to stop the crime. That the laws aren't working and the system is broken. That the American dream isn't real because most people don't get rich. What comes for this society? What's unifying us? Because let's talk about a country like Ukraine, which is corrupt head to toe. Complete corruption. But I actually have to give credit to the Ukrainians because they've been through so much shit. No electricity, snowstorms, mass corruption scandals, a war, people getting dragged off the street. And you know what you still see in Kiev? People waiting in line. You would not see, we can't have a hurricane without a riot. We can't have a hurricane without mass looting. When there was an eclipse, I remember when there was last an eclipse 3 or 4 years ago, I saw something that scared me for America. An eclipse was coming. And all the countries were talking about where you can see the eclipse, and for 2 minutes it's going to be dark, etc. When the American government posted about the eclipse, it warned people about the possibility of crime. At 1 p.m. in the fucking afternoon, it's going to be dark for 2 minutes, you might die? Is that how fragile our society has become? And I'm saying this as a patriotic American. I'm not trying to slander America. I love America. What I'm saying is, if the American dream holds us together, then it's very important the American dream is real. And it's not real anymore for many people. And this is why they're turning to revolutionary acts, whether it be socialism, whether it be anti-Semitism, whether it be just straight criminality. They think they have nothing to fucking lose. And we need to fix society so the mean, so the average don't have that problem. I'll give you another example. People talk about birth rates. Elon talks about birth rates all the time. Birth rates, birth rates, birth rates. I have kids, you have kids, you can have as many kids as you want. Whenever you decide, you can have kids. But you're not going to have a replacement birth rate unless the average man can have kids. And unfortunately, the average man can't have kids because the average woman wants stuff the average man can't give. That's the world we now live in.
How do you change that?
Well, exactly. How do you change that? This all ties into capitalism. This all ties into all these other problems. No. So Trump is trying his best, but Trump is caught between a rock and a hard place. Because if you piss off your oligarchy, now you have a whole new problem. You cannot, as Donald Trump or the president, no matter how powerful you are, piss off every rich person in your country. Let's talk about the Epstein list. Last time I was here, I said to you, Vinny, I said the reason he cannot release the Epstein list, why is he doing a cover-up of Epstein? I'll tell you all why. And I was right. I said whether you like it or not, whether Epstein did wrong things or not, you cannot lock up or investigate or publicly trial the most powerful, rich people in this nation. You can't take hedge fund managers and drag them to jail over something that might have happened in 1996. Your country implodes. Trump knows that. He knows he can't destroy his oligarchy. And different countries deal with their oligarchy in different ways. Venezuela's oligarchy sold them out because he didn't keep them happy enough. He was letting them steal. He was letting them all steal, but they couldn't steal enough because you can't steal more than the American government's going to send you. So they sold them out. Putin deals with his oligarchy another way. They fall out of fucking windows. China deals with his oligarchy. Well, they'll take Alibaba off your ass. You'll disappear for 3 years and come back and be a fucking communist. Everyone has to deal with their oligarchy. And in America, the nicest of the countries, we try to keep them happy. And unfortunately, to keep them happy, somebody's getting fucked. And what I'm saying is if we don't keep the balance careful, where the oligarchy's happy and the people in the middle, not at the bottom, but the people in the middle feel like they stand a chance. If the people in the middle get fucked too hard, a revolution, whether it be anti-Semitic, whether it be socialism, whether it be communism, or whether it just be straight criminality, is coming for this nation. That is a matter of time. That is not a matter of maybe. That's a matter of when. And we need to fix that. If young men could get a girlfriend and buy a house, anti-Semitism would disappear.
No.
Yes, it would. All this online hatred towards Jews would disappear if young men could buy a house and get a girlfriend. Actually, yes, it's that simple.
No, it's not.
Because young men are not sitting, I would argue, and
the part about what he's saying is right.
Young men aren't sitting there.
I want to hear what you're saying, but he is. But he's.
Can the guy who deals with anti-Semitism weigh in on anti-Semitism?
Of course.
For a second, guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's so much. You know what I love? By the way, shout out to PBD. I'm getting messages, Fresh and Fibba. Thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for. By the way, message to the Democrats. This is what grown men do who disagree.
Yeah.
Sit down and talk about stuff. So thank God we have PBD to say, Tate, I disagree. Vinny, blah, blah, blah.
That's why we're actually friends.
This is what it is.
That's the whole point. 100%.
If the dinner, the 6-hour dinner and drink-a-thon I had with Tristan Tate was on camera, it'd be viral right now.
Of course.
Thank you, Justin Waller, for that.
Thank you.
But anti-Semitism, I'm not even going to talk about that. That's here. That's never going to leave. It is what it is. It's been here thousands of years. What I want to focus on are solutions for young men. Because you asked, what can we do with the affordability problem?
Yeah.
What I love about you is there's so much I agree with you.
Yeah.
And then there's so much things I'm like, shut up, Tate.
That's probably true.
And I'm like, what?
I get that.
What's the one thing that I'm like, that I know more than Tate? It's not kickboxing.
Yeah.
It's not chicks, maybe. It's not, world geopolitics. It is America, though.
Of course.
You haven't lived here in 20 years?
That's true.
Yes or no?
Correct.
So the whole, at what age did you become a millionaire?
31.
31. You beat me by 4 years. 35. How broke were you at 21?
Oh, terrible. I was driving a Mitsubishi Eclipse and I was in debt $40,000.
So what changed?
Best days of your life, though.
Best days of the life.
Me and
Best days of your life.
Let me tell you,
Broke is great.
Of course. And the best
guy, being broke's better.
The best part of being rich is joking. Remember when we were broke?
Of course.
PBD one time we went and got a lemon, water and lemons and sugar, and we made some lemonade together.
Yeah.
And not to cut you off or brag, but I became a thousandaire at 40.
And we can talk about
Anyway, go
me at 45 had to teach him what a stock was.
No, he didn't. He said Roth IRA.
Financialized capitalism.
Even
There
better.
you go.
But what changed in that 10 years? My guess is literally everything.
Yeah.
Your mindset, your connections, who you're hanging out with,
course.
Jen, marriage, kids, right? So for me, 25, I was my brokest friend.
Yep.
Living on my rich friends' couches.
Correct.
Which was helpful. 35, I became a millionaire.
Yes.
What age did you become a millionaire?
Around the same as Patrick, 31, 30.
So there's a uniformity here. In your 30s is when you start to have money.
Correct.
The problem
But
is...
we weren't watching young men our age pull off impossible numbers.
No. There's one guy. You know what percentage of 21-year-olds are millionaires? 1%.
Of course.
So you're looking at the one guy.
Who's got the followers?
Because everyone's on social media.
That's right.
When I was 21, 25, in Miami, and I'm Jewish, I'm thinking, why can't I get all the money? Why can't I get girls? I didn't blame the Jews. I'm a Jew.
Of course.
I said, I need to get to work.
I agree.
And I moved out of Miami,
Yeah.
and I moved to Boca, started off as a cold caller.
You're right.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of calls. And that was in 2007, right before the meltdown. 5 years later, I'm pumping iron in the gym. Who do I meet? This guy.
But don't
And he tells me, hold on. He says, you're doing it all wrong, bro. You ever seen pictures of this guy? So the challenge that young men need to understand is you're not supposed to be rich at 21 or at 25. What age did you become a champion in the kickboxing world? What age?
I first became world champion at 24. But that's
And how many guys that you competed with wanted to become the champion?
Of course.
How many?
Everyone.
And how many became the champion?
One.
So most men are average. And average men don't deserve the hottest women and the best houses.
Listen.
So here's my challenge with you.
Yeah.
You've identified the problem.
Yep.
The solution needs to be handled a little bit differently. And I think you'll agree with me. And then I'll make one last point.
Sure.
And then I'll let the great...
This is like... This is
Oh, you're going to have me on a podcast and not talk?
No, this is not home team. This is Tate.
Okay.
You're treating it like a whole thing. Make your point, and I want to hear Tate's point.
Of course, but I want to pose the question because it's an actual important question.
With a 9-minute prelude?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Get to the point.
This is my point. Would you rather get rich quick or build wealth slow? I want to build wealth slow. So we say future looks bright or future looks bleak.
Yep.
In my opinion, you have two completely opposite talented people. You have Charlie Kirk and you have Nick Fuentes. One says, get married, have a family, have kids, put in the work, it's going to take you some time, future looks bright. One says, it's the Jews' fault, this is what's going on, blah, 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 blah. You can't buy a house, the deck stacks against you, future looks bleak. They're both smart, they both have points. What's the solution?
Okay, great point, and I completely understand.
Thank you.
But the point I'm trying to make, I know you're completely right. Anti-Semitism is on the rise, and so is socialism, all these things. The point I'm making is that young men are angry, and anger must be directed somewhere, at somebody. And young men in the world today are very, very angry. And understanding a situation or understanding a problem does give a degree of hope. You're right. Charlie, God rest his soul, was an optimist, and he was giving solutions, and it's the same solution that Patrick, all of us give. That's completely true because we say, look, guys, the only way out is exceptionalism. But if you're an average man and for whatever reason you don't believe or are incapable of becoming exceptional, the best thing you can do then is at least, if you're trying to cope, understand or look for understanding as to why you're getting fucked. That's why Nick is popular. I'm not saying he's right. What I'm saying is people watch him and go, finally it makes sense to me why I'm getting wrecked. It is, for us, as you quite correctly said, I'm a 40-year-old who should have been in that fucking club. For us as older men to sit and say, okay, if you're a 22-year-old man and you believe the system's screwing you, and that's a very tangible thing, you feel it and you see it. You're looking for at least a reason why, even if you can't fix it. Who should I be mad at? The world now in the West is a very angry place. And the problem with the American dream specifically, because there's no such thing as a positive without a negative. Light and dark go together. American exceptionalism is built on the American dream. It's a great thing. But the American dream also has a negative, because what binds America is money. And the point I was making earlier about us all being different people is that in other countries where the youth don't get rich, because you made a very important point, Adam, this is the easiest place in the world to make money. It is. Easiest place in the world to make money. And there's other countries where it's much harder to make money. So why don't they have riots? Because they think the same. Because they talk the same language. Because they have the same version of history. Because they have the same religion. Because they have a culture that unifies them. And what I'm saying, the West now, not just America, the West has become so diluted. Our culture is so thin. There's nothing unifying us but money. All we have is money. That's it.
Well, no,
so if that's all we have, people need to be able to make it.
Individualism and not the warmth blanket of collectivism. That's what it is.
Of course.
This PBD has taught me so much. What do you say about capitalism? Freedom to buy, freedom to sell.
Correct.
Freedom to try, freedom to fail.
Correct.
You know who fails? Losers fail. And that's the problem. And we have this catch-all, welfare state that losers are allowed to be losers.
The average, I would argue, and of course I know nothing. I'm a dummy.
I'm just a comedian.
I am a dummy. I'm a dummy.
Stop it.
I am. I'm just
Nobody believes you're a dummy.
No, but I'm just going through life just observing things.
Yeah.
I live in Romania. And I'll tell you something that I noticed something. This is really weird. I was in a town in Romania. It's called Cluj-Napoca. I'm sure no one's been, but it's very beautiful, very safe town. They have no money for police, but it's very safe because culturally it's very safe. It's just a safe place. And if a song comes on, everybody, male and female, does the same dance. And then if you go to a town 2 hours away, say you go to Brasov, and the same song comes on, everybody does a different dance. All of the people in the entire city, because they went to the same school or they had the same parents or they speak the same language, all know the same dance. To me, that was remarkable. I was like, we don't have that anywhere in the West, where a song comes on and every person in the entire place, male, female, old, young, they all know the same dance. And what I'm saying is that if they all go broke in Romania or Ukraine, they're less likely to go burn the whole place to the ground because they all know the same dance. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm saying? In America we don't have this here. And what I'm saying is, if money is our game, which is the basis of American exceptionalism, that is a good thing. We need to at least be able to make or allow most average people to in some way play the game. I'm not saying everyone has to be a trillionaire. At least in some way play. And I'll ask you guys, because you know better than me. Adam quite correctly pointed out, I haven't been here for 20 years. If you're a normal young man and you go get an average job, can you buy a house? It's a yes or no question. If the answer is no.
Right now, it's very, very, very no.
Well, if the answer is no, all I'm saying, and I could be wrong, is that we have big problems coming. Because when women get angry, as we all know, they nag and complain. And when women go and protest, it's inconvenient. But do you know what happens when millions of young men go protest?
Wars.
It's called a revolution.
Yeah.
That is why the British government put me in jail, because I was an unchecked source of influence, verbatim. They said he has too much control over the military-aged population. He can cause a riot. He can get Westminster burnt down. He must be stopped. And you know what? I'm so non-emotional about things. I have to admit, it was prudent for MI6 to write that memo and send it to the Romanians. It was prudent for them to sit and say, this guy could, at the time, I don't have that power anymore. In 2022, I could have said Westminster 8 p.m. and the place would be on fire. And they didn't know my brain. They don't know me. They don't know I come across bombastic and crazy on the internet. They thought this guy might literally burn it all to the ground. Fix it. It's actually prudent for a government to wreck me as they did. I'm not even emotional about it, even though I've done nothing wrong. I get it. But what I'm saying is we have problems coming to America. The average 22-year-old would start this whole conversation, as Patrick asked. The true answer to the question is exceptionalism. But for a society, the social contract can't be purely based around exceptionalism, because we've already seen it. Wasn't New York the most capitalistic city in the world?
Used to be.
Didn't a communist just win? Are we all going to sit here and ignore the trend? Are we all going to sit here and go, and you know what I love about all you guys, and I love it especially when Patrick says it on his videos, the future looks bright. Correct, the future is bright because we're not pessimists and we'll find a way and we'll sort it out. But for the future to be bright, we need to at least pay attention to where we're going. Our drive isn't bright if we drive with our eyes closed. And we are heading into a nightmare. And the nightmare is because young men are angry, looking for someone to blame. So when I say anti-Semitism would go away if a man could get a girlfriend in a house, I argue that's true because these young men are furious and they are bored and they are at home with nothing to do and no way out.
I agree that the percentage of the complaining would decrease.
Yes.
I don't know if it's permanently going to go away. There's always going to be the argument, well, here's what happened.
People are always going to hate me for being half black.
Yes.
I get Christian, I get white, these groypers and these anti-Semites, they message me, who knew you're black, your mom race mixes, who cares? But you know what I never hear that from? Rich people. I only hear it from broke people.
When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.